Rolling. Jake, welcome.
Let's do it.
A little bit different video today.
Totally different.
On how to travel with firearms, specifically how to fly.
Fly, yeah.
But before we get into that, Jake, go ahead. Tell the people what they need to know.
I was mid-yawn. Had to shut it down. Channel sponsor, Peace of Mind Guns. We do thank them for their continued support. There's a code when this comes out you can use. So check that out. They carry a bunch of great gear. You can go to their site. They list all the great gear that they covered. Yeah, let's talk about flying with guns.
Okay, so we're going to jump into this. So if you guys don't know, I fly up from Arizona to film for the 1911 Syndicate. We have done that once a month, every month for the last 3 years. So if you do that math, how much is that?
36
flights, two
times
flights
2.
Per month.
72.
72?
72 flights.
Is that true?
Yeah.
You just did that math?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. My other job, I travel the country with CGS suppressors, slinging suppressors. And
Slinging.
I fly once a month for that job also.
Yeah.
So if we do the math on that, like, I get a little miles doing this.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I'm a subject matter expert. And please, this is not legal advice in any way, shape, or form. Always check your local, state, and federal laws when flying with firearms. From my experience and the education I have from my experience, first thing we're gonna get into is case. This is up for debate on the interwebs, and it should not be. Okay.
Okay.
The case, anywhere a lock is able to be, has to have a lock. Okay. So like my other Pelican only has 2 slots for locks. I only need 2 for that. This case needs 4 locks because it has 4 slots. Every place a lock can be, a lock has to be. Okay.
2 holes.
2 holes, so 2 locks.
You have to plug both.
Plug the holes.
Yeah, you have to plug both.
Got to make
the
it
holes.
airtight, dude.
Yep.
Okay. Next thing is locks. There's a little bit of debate on locks. People will say that it has to be a TSA approved lock, and it does not. What TSA approved means is they have a set of keys in the back that open TSA approved locks.
Yep.
So they can open your case without you, which is against the law. We'll get into that here in a bit. You okay over here, bud?
You buried my locks.
Oh, gotcha. You want to show what TSA approved locks look like?
This is a TSA approved lock. It says TSA 007, ironically, right? And that's the little TSA keyhole.
Yep.
These are also technically TSA approved. We will talk about why I would not recommend these with this little like wire.
Doily.
Yeah.
Right? If you notice, mine are not that way. And I strategically bought 2 3-packs of locks.
Yeah.
So it takes 2 keys to open my Pelican, not 1.
Okay.
So 3 of these locks are to 1 key, 1 key is to 1 lock.
Okay.
And the reason why is, again, it's just another layer of difficulty for someone to get into my case.
Yeah, security, sure.
I also mark which key opens what.
Yeah.
And I tell the TSA agent that, like, hey, this specific key will open 3, this key will only open 1.
Okay.
Okay?
Clever.
Yeah. You know?
One question we did want to answer at the start was, how many firearms can I fly with?
Oh, great point. So this is one thing too, guys, as you fly with firearms and deal with different TSA agents, they're all gonna view their rules slightly different,
Yeah.
okay? I have been told by multiple agents there's no limit on firearms. I have been told by one agent the limit is 7, which seems like an arbitrary number that she pulled out of her ass.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Yeah.
The most firearms I've flown with, well, maybe I shouldn't say that because that's incriminating. Statute of limitations, right? It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 firearms.
Okay.
Okay. That Pelican weighed 96 pounds.
Oh boy.
So that was a expensive overweight baggage fee.
I bet.
$230 to be exact.
Oh.
But that one was rough. So depending on where you go, they may say there's a certain limit to firearms. I typically fly with 3. So I've never had an issue with 3. I've flown with all the way up to 8.
Okay.
Okay. You want to talk about ammunition right now too?
Yeah, why
Since
not?
that's in the general realm.
Yeah, like
right?
how much and how do we keep it?
Perfect. So again, the way it's been explained to me, you can only fly with up to 11 pounds of ammunition.
Okay.
And that has to do with the weight and explosives ratio not being in a certain container.
Okay.
Like those containers that they ship explosives in.
Yeah.
Or the bins. That's a certain weight from my understanding. So you can only fly with up to 11 pounds of ammunition.
Okay.
And I've been told that by multiple agents. And it can be in this case as long as it's in the manufacturer's box.
Very important point
Okay.
there.
Now this is a very important point because say you have like a dope little something you take to the range that holds 50 rounds, but it's like a plastic non-discrete box.
Yeah.
It has to be the manufacturer's box.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It really comes in handy on reloads too. Because almost all reloads are going to not wind up qualifying because they're going to be in bags that are sealed and
Correct.
stuff like that.
Yep.
You know?
Like me, I bring, my self-defense ammo in the self-defense box,
Yeah.
in the case.
Yep.
You cannot fly with loaded magazines.
No.
So you can't be like, well, no, you cannot have magazines inside firearms also. And this is something I recently just got dinged for.
With pistols, I believe you can.
No, you can't. That's what I got dinged for.
Okay, then I will just say I have never been dinged for that.
Exactly. So this is what we're getting into. I've never had an issue before, but one agent had an issue with it. Now, what I do when I fly is all my mags, I organize in a little tearaway pouch. Okay? So all my magazines go into this for pistol and rifle. That goes in there.
Okay.
Okay? What was next, Jake?
Yeah, really just showing, well, what qualifies as a hard side case.
Great.
And with rifle and pistol, it's not that it varies, but the dynamics change.
Sure.
Right? Because, you want me to talk about pistol for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so on pistol, right, you're not just going to check this as a thing.
I hope you don't.
Unlike you would check this. Right?
Yeah.
This is going to wind up in a suitcase.
That is a checked suitcase.
Checked suitcase. Of course, it should be obvious you can't have this on a carry-on, but we should say that. So here's how this works. Technically, a hard side lockable suitcase can count as the hard case.
Per their laws and
Yes.
rules, yes.
Yes. Now, I will say the only issue I have ever had with TSA flying with firearms is I had a pistol case, like a soft side pistol case with the pistol in it, in a hard lockable suitcase. The hard lockable suitcase was locked with these locks. That was an approved thing. The lady behind the counter, sorry, but it was
She had different colored hair.
yeah, occasionally you can meet someone and go, I don't think you're probably friendly to the cause here.
Sure.
And she flagged it. And she was like, and I was like, no, this is how it works. This is the hard lockable suitcase. This is what counts as the hard lockable suitcase. And she goes, well, that's not our policy. And I was like, you don't have a policy.
Yeah.
Like, you have no policy. You, lady, don't have a policy.
The TSA website has a policy.
Yes, but eventually, basically, I had no choice. She was not going to have it, and I didn't have time to deal with it, so I had to literally haul ass in the shuttle back to the car, drop the thing off, fly without a firearm. It was ridiculous, okay? But just so you know, right, if we kind of demo this for a quick sec, because this is very important, nuanced thing that you do need to know.
I'm going to set up what you're doing here is, one of the rules is even when locked, the agent cannot get their fingers into the case. It doesn't matter what they're trying to pull out. They cannot get their fingers into the case, okay? So, Jake, the difference with...
So these are TSA locks, right?
Correct.
So now let's just say that these are on, okay? I flipped the latches. Because I can at least play this game, this will get you flagged.
Yep.
Okay, this will get you basically
Can you
kicked
pull a
out.
gun out of there?
No,
No.
but I can get
You can get fingers in.
Yeah.
And that's what they go for, is fingers in the case. Okay?
versus. So, and I bought this pistol case specifically to fly with pistols. It is a Pelican. Can you read that model number? 'Cause I
Pelican
can't see it.
1170. Mine is the 1720. I also have a 1740, which is this length, but double the thickness. And that case is, they're going to run you a couple $100, guys. These cases are expensive, but also, how expensive is your firearm? And what are you willing to pay for peace of mind that it's going to be really difficult to break into this, okay?
Okay, so you swap the locks over to these. I can't, I mean, you could, if you had the wrong person on the wrong day, you could have someone dispute this, because I can literally get
Your fingernail.
a centimeter of a finger in there. But the reality is you can't access this to pull a pistol out. It's not going to happen, right? So this would be approved.
Yep.
This should be approved.
Hopefully.
Okay?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what you need to know about pistols.
Cool.
Okay?
A couple other pro tips that I found just traveling is I screenshot and have a separate album in my photo album on my phone of their laws, of my tax stamps for all my NFA items, and anything pertinent to traveling. My TSA pre-check number is all on this album. So, the reason I bring this up is an agent has given me a hard time about something that she did not think was proper. So I pulled out my phone with the screenshot of the TSA website so it would work with or without cell service. And I could show her, per your law with your website, section 1682 says this. Here's another pro tip that I've learned. I have not had a TSA agent give me a hard time in the last maybe 50, 60 trips.
Okay.
And the reason why is because I have all this screenshotted, and when I walk up to the counter, there's very specific verbiage that I use. When I walk up, hey, I do need to declare a firearm, All my firearms are unloaded and or disassembled. There is no ammunition. If there is ammunition, it is in the manufacturer's box. And every time since I started that procedure, they're like, wow, you must do this often. And I say, once a month, every month for 3 years, multiple flights. So yes, I do this often.
Yeah.
And because I'm confident, I'm respectful, I'm nice, and I have all my shit squared away,
Yeah.
I have no issues.
Yeah.
In fact, it's the opposite. Most of the time, they're like, you really know your stuff. Like, thank you. Like, hey, we need to do this, this, and this, and then you're done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. And then one thing that they do is they're going to check all your, they're going to ask you to open it then. They're going to confirm. Again, they're not gun people most of the time, so they just kind of peek in and say, looks good. And then you sign a document saying that you agree everything is unloaded, safe, yada, 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 and they throw it in here.
Yeah, it's
an
a little
orange
tag.
It's in the center console
grab
if you want to grab it. Okay. But it's an orange tag that they're going to throw in there. What that signifies is that someone in TSA has checked it and that they're good to go. One thing I've found, guys, too, traveling is I kind of used to just throw my shit in there and make it work. The more organized it looks, the better it is. There's that. So you would sign this, they throw it in here, shut it and lock it. After checking, what they're going to do is this will go on the conveyor belt and into the back. And most airports have an area you go and stand in. And they tell you, hey, wait 10 minutes. If this pops for explosives, they're going to need you to come back and open it.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, it's covered in gunpowder. So it pops every time. Okay? So now some airports just forego that, and they say, hey, we're going to go check it. They don't even scan it first. The key thing to this is they are not legally allowed to open this firearms case without you present. They can take your keys and open it, but you have to be present. Okay? My airport in Mesa, if they give me a hard time about this, it's in a section of the airport we're not allowed. They're the only airport in the country I've had this issue with.
Oh, I've had this all the time.
So, from my experience, this is the only one. So they won't let me go back with them. So I do not give them my keys. What I say is, can I request a police officer? There's always a police officer in every airport on duty, if not multiple. Mm-hmm. He comes, I then say, hey, officer, they got to check my firearms case. I'm just more comfortable with you being present. Give them the key. They go back. They come out. Usually the officer hands me the key. I say, hey, thanks, man. And he's like, no, bro, I get it. Usually a fist bump and we're out. But they are not ever allowed to open the case without you. If they try to pull that bull crap, request a police officer.
Yeah.
Some people will take it as far as getting their lawyer on the phone because it is a felony for that TSA agent.
Yeah.
Also, if there's NFA items in there, it's another charge. Okay? So
Yeah.
always request a police officer if they're not going to let you go back and open it. Legally, you have to be there, though. So they are breaking the law. Just get a cop there. It'll make you sleep better at night. Good to go.
Yeah.
What do you got?
AirTags.
Yeah. Look at that transition. So my next thing, which I could cry because our beautiful photographer, Buster, for Christmas this year gave me AirTags. Because, did you know that I flew with these? Oh, you hadn't even heard that?
Well, I just figured.
Oh my gosh. He's such a stud. So what I recently started doing is I'll take a Apple AirTag and I'll throw it in like the pistol grip of my rifle or throw it underneath the foam. Mm-hmm. And so even in the airport, I can see that Pelican travel through the airport the whole time.
Yeah,
it's a
smart.
peace of mind thing. This lasts for 5 years, I think. Buster found these AirTag protectors for Pelican. So this I'm gonna stick on the inside here.
Cool.
I'm gonna, label them. I label mine like a government case.
Yeah.
So people don't mess with it.
Yes.
Like my AirTag says like government
U.S.
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Just in a joking way because then it feels a little more serious,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, AirTags, guys, this is legit James Bond level tracking that we can just buy for $25. And the peace of mind this gives you, because even if your case doesn't make it on your flight, you know where that
Yeah, I know
case
where it
is.
is, though.
Hey, my case didn't make it, and you can start the ball rolling on that process real quick.
like how did it wind up in Tijuana?
Correct.
Like we got a problem.
We got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Apple AirTags, guys, I mean, for $25 or it's like $100 for 4. Like you just, you're dumb if you fly without this.
Yeah. So what happens? Okay, I land in St. Louis or whatever, and I need to get my bag. Now, how do I do that?
Yeah. So when you reach your destination, you're gonna deplane. Go to the baggage claim. What they are supposed to do is bring it out on the oversized baggage area.
Oh, really?
And even then, someone who works there, either a ground guy, a baggage guy, or TSA, is supposed to check your ID,
Yeah.
match it with the tag, that's on there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then hand you the case.
Yeah. For this, yeah.
Yes.
It's not what happens with mine.
When I landed in Provo this week, it just came out on the regular thing.
Okay.
It's a bummer. They're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to come out and check. I've had it both ways.
In almost every case, if you fly with a pistol case inside of your suitcase, this will wind up going to the little baggage room. Like, there's the conveyor belts, and then there's the Delta room. Where you go to report, hey, you lost my bag. Can you guys, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to show up there, and then you see your bag roll in, and you're like, here's my ID. They check it. Here's your bag, sir. Have a nice day.
When I land in Sky Harbor, this goes to the Delta room. You got to go to Delta, pick it up.
Yeah.
When I land in Mesa, they just come out, give it to me, and check my ID. So that will be a little bit different everywhere you go. But again, the AirTag is nice because I can see.
Yeah.
No, it's still at Terminal 3. I can see it right here. So.
Okay, here's a consideration.
Yeah.
What about flying to restricted states?
So this, again, no legal advice here, guys. But let's use California as an example and say I'm going there to train with a firearms instructor. The way it's been explained to me is as long as you are there for 30 days or less, you have documentation that you are there to train, you can fly in and out of that state with your 30-round mags, suppressors, and SBRs.
Yeah.
Now, again, this has been explained to me by multiple professionals. I'm not saying it's the rule, but this is how I understand it. So, if I want to go to LA to train, I could fly into LA, use all my normal stuff as long as I'm there for training 30 days or less, and then I need to be able to fly home.
Yeah. Now, caveat, that's assuming that you wanted to fly with, suppressor high capacity, standard capacity magazines.
Correct.
Let's call them
Standard
what they
capacity.
Are. But let's just say, hey, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not going there to train. So now what do I do? Okay, cool. So I've got a Glock 48 in this. Oftentimes it's what I travel with. Why? One, inexpensive. If something goes south, at least it was a Glock 48, right? And the standard capacity in the magazines is 10 rounds, right? So it's like, hey, that's a good gun if you were going to roll to a state like that.
Sure.
There's no issue with that, guys. Literally, the process doesn't change. Like, you can fly into California. I lived in California for a long time, for those who don't know, and it's like, you can fly in and out of California with guns, no problem. What you may have, and it's the only time that I ever have this happen, is, again, because I only really ever fly with pistols, pistol is in my actual suitcase.
Yeah.
And what they do is they take an industrial strength zip tie and zip tie your entire suitcase shut. And when you get there and you see this butchering of your suitcase, you're like, can you guys help me cut this off? No, sir, we can't. And I'm like, well, my knife is in the bag. How do you expect me to cut it off? And
Your problem, not ours.
They're basically like, I don't know, have fun with that. So that is just something to maybe consider.
Yeah. You may run into that.
Yeah. Any other tips? So we got documenting serial numbers. Kind of talk about that.
Yeah, that's one thing Jake brought up. I document the serial numbers on my NFA items, obviously, because they're NFA items. But Jake brought up a good point. Any item you have in here, maybe document what the serial numbers are.
Yeah.
And me personally, because I like to have it packed efficiently, I take a picture of it open
photo, yeah.
so I know how to repack it. The plus side of that also is if anything's missing, I can see.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think that is about it.
Yeah.
This isn't massively complicated, but there's not a lot of information out there on it. So, look, as long as you follow the rules of the game, which are public knowledge because it's government stuff, you will have no problems. And if you do have problems, you have a solution, which is here's what the rules are.
Correct.
Like this, again, it's
Screenshot
not
it and
your
have it
call.
saved.
Like this isn't Debbie's call.
Yeah.
Like, no, it doesn't work that way.
And, guys, kill them with kindness. I know that, we like to beat our chest, and if someone is rude to us that's anti-gun, we like to let them know that we're, tough. Look, dude, I kill them with kindness. I'm always polite. I'm always nice. I'm always friendly. I will kiss that ass. Because you know what? That one individual, Debbie, could ruin your entire trip.
Yeah.
So be nice, guys. Be respectful. If you have your stuff squared away, usually it's not an issue.
Yeah.
Every now and then I get the, you going hunting?
Sure.
No. And then they just clam up real quick and it's like, no, I'm actually a real estate agent. And they're like, what? I'm like, long story. Anyways. But most of the time, people are nice. Be respectful. And, that's all I got for you.
Well, cool. Right on, guys. We would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. And if you're ever looking for ways to support the channel, we actually are real estate agents. That might seem odd because we don't feel like real estate agents, but that's actually kind of what the 1911 Syndicate is. So you can check out 1911syndicate.com for that. We've got our Patreon that's just popping and it's lit. And there's all kinds of fun things going on these days with different giveaways and exclusive content and Q&As and all kinds of stuff. So you can check that out. And then I guess our final thank you to Firearms Legal Protection for sponsoring the channel. And
concealed carry insurance if you need it. If you do need it, you should have it. And if you don't think you need it, you do need it. So they'll cover anything from any legally justified self-defense scenario.
Yeah, with any legal weapon. Yep.
I have the premium plan because my wife is also on that. You have the single lonely plan, which is like $20 a month.
Yeah, but I can travel to all 50 states like a fucking gangster.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So if you need insurance, get it. FLP is your guys.
Code 1911 saves you like about a third off the subscription.
Which is a good amount.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
cool.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys, at FLP, and thank you, guys.
All right. Rock on, guys. We'll catch you next episode.